A man knows that over half of marriages end in divorce. A man knows that 95% of alimony is paid by men. A man knows that should know, in the majority of states, the mother is going to be defaulted as the best parent for the interest of the kid. A man should know that the majority of child support is paid by men. They should also understand that the same way that the majority of time you buy a car, you're not going to have an accident. You probably use your insurance more for getting a speeding ticket, more often for getting a traffic ticket than you would for having an actual accident. But just in case, you go get that insurance. So just in case the wife you love loves you forever and then decides, you know what, man, this shit ain't for her. Just in case that happens, you get a prenup.
I understand what you're saying, but that's not what I'm preaching. That's not what I will put out there. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Now, if you guys do it, I'm not going to speak against you guys are doing it. I understand. I understand why y'all take that stance. I understand why y'all feel that way, the way that is. But if it was me, I wouldn't do it.
So can I ask you another question? Because like we got to know each other on these panels, and then we talk offline too. Mm-hmm. If you were worth 10, 15, 20, $30 million before you knew who Miss Hink was, before that woman was even in your stratosphere, and you've already been divorced and went through that process, so you know what that looks like, right? And when you went through that divorce, you were already worth money. You went through that process like John Cena. You went through the process, had a couple dollars, got fucked over. You've been fucked over once before. Would you have got married again without a prenup?
Yes.
Cool. The best part about it is you have the right to. However, that decision to when anybody else looks at that, it's a poor decision. No disrespect to you, obviously, but it's a poor decision. It's like fucking a girl who burns you more than once. Like you're doing the exact same thing and expecting a different result. And by definition, that's insane.
Dude, well, my crazy ass gonna jump in the river then. I'm going.
Hey, listen, I'm getting married again too.
God damn it.
But
are you really?
Did you know that approximately 10% of divorce cases involve alimony, and that's a significant decrease from the 25% seen in the 1960s?
No, I mean I do know that they pay that. The only 10% of divorce end in alimony. I'm not, but how does that tie into what we're talking about right now?
I just thought women these days was just like, it's just what you said your experience was. It seemed like majority of women from you, and I'm not even gonna talk to you real dope, because I already know why your experience is the way it is. But Willie, yours seemed like it has a lot to do with money and stuff. But it seems like women are not getting married for alimony or looking to be taken care of, like just to get into a marriage and then get to divorce to be getting taken care of. It seems like the numbers, like they said, has significantly decreased. I honestly think that social media has a warp on your head, like for real. I don't think, and it gets so bad, and this is how you condition people to where we really start believing this is our reality, and then you go into these relationships with preconceived notions and wonder why you get the result that you get.
Period. I think
I understand exactly where you're coming from, but there's 3 points we should need to clear up. One, you said me and Dope, right? So me and Dope have similar experiences with women because we have similar paths about being regular and then now not, being successful. So we can see both sides. However, to your point, 10% of marriages end in alimony, right? Because the majority of women aren't marrying men who make a bunch of money can do that. But if you further break down that 10%, the majority of those women who get alimony are stay-at-home moms. The majority, then the second largest part are women who just earn less. And I think it's like 70-30. But that doesn't change the fact that for those of us who have money, we focus on the divorces that happen in our stratosphere. Mott doesn't give a damn about what happened to a nigga who's a manager at the post office. It happens in his divorce. That nigga makes $80,000 a year. He cares about what happened in my divorce or what happened in his friend. His homeboy was an athlete to divorce, because that's the arena that he's in. So when you hear us talking about it, the only people that should be having these conversations are people with something to lose. And I'm on record and being on panel with you saying the majority of men are average at best. The majority. So this isn't even a conversation, something they should be thinking about. Lastly, you said that social media has warped our minds. For only because I know mine personally, our life experiences are what we speak off of. Social media has no bearing on how we view the real world because for the people that do, they're never successful. The people who social media can influence and warp their minds and make them think that, oh, all women are bad or all white people are racist or all men, are woman beaters. Those are saying what we like to say low vibrational. I don't want to call them stupid. I'm trying to be nice, but like, when the fuck it, those are stupid people who are able to be influenced by social media that way. Nobody who's influenced that way is going to be successful or even have to have these types of problems because the people that are and do have money, they're marrying bitches with no social without a prenup anyway.
So I have a question. You said you went from being a regular to successful. Did that pool of change women? Did the pool of women change in doing that?
Yeah, it got wider because so here, I'll give you my timeline. Yeah, I think I've been fairly transparent.
Hey, quick question. When you say regular, do you mean average?
Yeah, average women.
Okay.
So when I use average or regular, synonymous in this situation. I didn't start making money. I didn't change check. I have a significant tax bracket change until I was 30. I'm 42 now. Previously, I was in the military. We all know that. So in the military, the most money I made was like 130 grand a year. It was because I was deployed and getting a bunch of overseas pays, right? And that was only for 2 years. So prior to that, I had access to those women who want military men who, I was doing good, right? I invested well, so I had a little extra on top of that, but it wasn't an issue. But when I got out of the military, started my company, and then started getting those checks, the reason why the pool changes is because one, I changed, I evolved, I earn more now. So the women that I couldn't access who were looking for men who earned X amount of dollars or who had the type of power or resources I had, I didn't have access to them as a regular nigga. But now as an irregular, I have access to all of those women. The best part about it is, though, that I'd already been through a divorce. So I knew what that shit could do. I'd already been divorced once. So I already knew what child support was. Thank God I didn't pay no fucking alimony, but I was able to beat all of those things. So I know what it was. I've moved accordingly since. So when I got remarried, there was a prenup involved. And it was only for financial stuff. So I bought a lot of crypto before I got married. So I wanted to make sure that I could protect those things, to keep those things separate because I wasn't going to risk being fucked over again. Kind of like John Cena. I knew better. But now at 42, I'm not against prenups because I want to make sure that my woman is taken care of. Lord forbid I get married again and me and my woman, we get divorced. Lord forbid it happens. But I'm realistic. Mathematically speaking, it's likely to happen. I can say we'll do all the work, we'll do the counseling, the communication, all the things that'll make a marriage last, right? I can swear to God I'll do all of those things. She can swear to God she'll do them too. But mathematically speaking, that marriage is still it's likely to end. But because of my pride now, there's no way that I could have the woman that I was married to when I was making money not be taken care of when we get divorced. It's not possible because that would make me look bad. It would make me look as bad as my wife working at McDonald's as a cashier. It would make me look as bad as like my wife being homeless after we get divorced. So to me, the prenup that I would come into is like say, hey, we married for 10 years. You get $100,000 for every year that we're married, right? Make that part of mine. And then also one of the businesses that I have or that I built for her, I will give to her so that way she is self-sufficient because she still probably has my kids. And then two, if she wants to carry my last name, she can't be out here looking stupid. She can't be out here struggling. And that just because of how I look, because of how it would look against me now. That's part of the responsibility of getting married again when you already have shit.